Howdy! What we got here is a 1973 Ford F250. Picked this up last month. This is going to be my project truck, and hopefully make some videos and learn how to make videos while I learn how to do basically everything. Today I'm going to be trying out from the D.I.Y Auto School, link down below, these silicone polycarbide abrasive wheels for removing rust. Something to keep in mind if you do try it. This is a 4.5 inch angle grinder. This is a 4.5 inch wheel for your angle grinder. It does not fit. Maybe I can grind it down, use it. I've got the whole truck to take the rest off of, so save that for the frame. What I got instead is a 4 inch for this, and we're going to be using that instead because I kind of like keeping this on and not being pelted with crap. Got a cut brush. Going to be using that for the back edge. There's a tiny little groove that exists apparently for no other reason than to collect water and cause the bed of your truck to rust. So between those two, we're going to go ahead and de-rust this entire truck bed, and I've got some Rustex. Couldn't find a video on Rustex. Maybe I missed it. The ones I did find, they were using it as a dip for small parts. Well, as you can see, unless I'm renting out the city pool in the off season and driving my whole truck into it, that doesn't exactly do me any good. So we're going to get the rust off, clean it up, try out some Rustex, let it sit overnight, and do a review on that also, since apparently there needs to be one out there. All right, well, let's get started. So that is what I just did from that. This wore out to nothing in next to nothing. It does work really good, but I'm going to need 10, God knows how many I'm going to need. Wow, okay. So I guess we'll use this one. Take the guard off this, use the other one, and then I'll be down to doing whatever it is I can do with this. Great. So there's 2 of them, worn down to nothing, and it's maybe a quarter of the bed. You can see with that second one, I tried to go a little faster, just get the loose scale, loose paint, didn't try to do as good of a job, and I got a bigger area covered. But wow, these polycarbide silicone grinding wheels work really good, but they disappear very fast. Well, for only being a 4.5 inch compared to the 4-inch other ones, this one actually lasted a lot longer. So apparently, if you want to get longevity, it costs $1 more. Take the guard off, use the 4.5. Probably, I would say 3 of these to do a better job. Would have been nice. Would have done the whole thing. All right, there you go. One truck bed, de-rusted. I hadn't planned on hitting it a final time with the wire brush, but there was a lot of little spots, little rust places, some loose paint that those polycarbide wheels just didn't hit. They might have, but I was going a little quick to try and get the whole thing with the last wheel that I had. But all in all, it took less than 2 hours. I hope the before and the after shot that I zoomed in on picked up a difference that's noticeable. I'm going to have to bring my little camera with me. The camera I'm using right now, you got to be far away from it. It's not a handheld, show what's right in front of my face type of thing. But live and learn. That's part of the fun of doing videos. So what we've done now is I rinsed it out, got all the loose stuff done, and we're going to go ahead and try out this Rustex. There's going to be a link in the description for another video of a guy and his son that did a truck bed, and they used Fertan. That's what I had looked at using first, except that runs about $150, $60 for a gallon. This was $23 for a gallon. So we're going to try this first and see if that cuts it or not. So right now we'll just go ahead and let the bed dry out. We'll let this Harley go by. Have to do a video on my bike. All right, and where was I? Okay, so we're going to let this truck bed dry out after rinsing it. I'll get the paintbrush. We'll put on a coat. The sun is behind these trees. I was kind of worried about that, but I got such a late start. Not a problem. So it's not going to be 90 degrees in the bed. So this will have a good 14 hours, 15. It says 24. Going to get it as close as I can to sit. But I'll put on a layer. We'll let it sit overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and see what we have to work with. And hopefully it's good enough. And I'll be putting on some primer. And the idea here isn't to have a finished truck bed. We're up here in North Idaho. It's September. I want to take the whole truck bed off and start on the frame and the gas tanks and everything underneath, but there's just not going to be enough time. It's going to start raining here pretty soon, then the snow, and it's going to rain, and I'm not going to be out here doing anything until probably March or April of next year. So wanted to at least get this done. This truck's had a camper on it most of its life. For a 73, it's got a very good bed, and the underside looks like the top, just some scale. The only rot in the whole truck I've seen so far is the floor pans, which I'll be using the other camera for when I give a more detailed look at the truck. All right, well, come back in a little while once this truck bed's dry, and we'll try some of this stuff out. All right, here we are. It's the next day. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. Gives us about 19 hours of the Rustex sitting on the bed of the truck. The reason you're not watching me apply this right now is I thought I had hit the record button, but turns out I didn't. So when I got everything uploaded to the computer off the camera, I got a video of me cleaning everything up, because instead of turning it off, I was in fact turning it on. I just applied it very sloppily with a normal brush. When you brush, don't flip it. Just it's a little consistency of water. It goes on real fast. Covered the whole bed. Filled this cup up with about 32 ounces. I drew a line here. I've got about this much down left, so I used about 1/3 of a gallon of this to do the whole entire truck bed. And it looks like this bottle will treat the entire bed top and bottom. So for 23 bucks, can't beat that. It looks like it worked really good. Within about 15 minutes of finishing up, it had already started turning black. Looks like it did a great job. It doesn't dry like water does. It's still got some damp areas, even though it was almost 90 degrees when I put it on. It's almost 80 degrees right now. It's the thick parts are turning into more like a gel, and we're going to go ahead and wash this down with some soapy water, get all the remaining stuff off, let it dry before we treat it. We're going to be treating it with this Rust-Oleum red oxide primer. I chose that just in case there's rust remaining that the Rustex didn't get. This is going to adhere to it and protect the bed. Optimistically, 2 winters from now, I'll be on finish work and things like stripping the bed, learning some basic body work, and painting will be that. So hopefully this is going to work good enough. I also took some video of the tailgate. Since I had some remaining in the jug, I went ahead and treated the whole tailgate with no prep work at all. On top of everything, on top of the scale, everything that was on here, and it did a decent job. There is a noticeable difference from the bed that was prepped and the tailgate that wasn't. So when it says, hey, prep your metal before you use it, it's yeah, it's an actual thing. The last word I'll say right now in this video on the Rustex is that this is some very nasty stuff. It's dangerous. It says on it not to use in a sprayer, and then it goes on to say that you can clean your sprayer with regular water. The reason for that being is that if you inhale this from a spray, if you get this in your eyes, it's going to do some damage. And I hope you take that to heart. Coming from a guy that you just watched grind the bed of this truck with an angle grinder wearing no eye protection, I hope that carries a little more weight when I tell you this is some nasty stuff. Use the proper personal protective equipment. Use some eye glasses, use some gloves, because this is some nasty stuff. Other than that though, it looks like it worked really good, and I'm going to be using it again, obviously. So let's go ahead and get this bed washed. We'll let it dry and be putting on our first layer of paint. All right, we got the bed washed out, we got it rinsed. I took some close-ups with the other camera. Hopefully that turns out. We got a good bed. I am pretty impressed. I think this did a really great job so far. I've got a tarp up here. I don't know if this is necessary, but we're getting close to almost 90 degrees out, and it's even hotter in the truck of that bed. The metal's already getting uncomfortable to the touch, so we'll see if this works or not. I'm going to roll that out as I paint and do the base coat under some shade. Later on, this will be under some shade, and I won't need to, and it'll be open to catch all the crap from this tree here, get it into the paint, give it a nice textured look when it's finished. So, without much further ado, let's get to it. All right, got the base coat on, got the tarp over the top. Hopefully that keeps at least most of it from prematurely drying and not getting a chance to set properly. I really don't know what's going to happen here with this, but you got to work with what you got, right? I did all this just to use what was left in the paint cup. So that was one paint cup. Oh, what do we got here? So that was probably one full paint cup, I think. I'll have to watch the video again to see exactly what, but one full paint cup is a little bit over 24 ounces, which would be between a fifth and a sixth of a gallon of paint. That's not bad at all. So we'll give this at least 4 hours to set, and then we'll come back and take a look at what we got. All right, well, it's been about 5 hours since I finished the first base coat. It's all dry to the touch. Taking some close-ups. You can see I think it turned out pretty good. Now that the shade's on the truck, it's had, you know, like I said, 5 hours. I'm going to put a second coat on. I'm not going to video that. You already watched me do one. Hopefully, if I remember to hit the record button. We'll see later on when I download the video. But so that's it. Should be good to go for a couple winters. Protected. Not really worried about how it looks. It's all got to come off again anyways when I do the finals work on it. So well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I know I've learned a lot so far in this process, least of which is to remember to hit the record button, and I'm going to definitely need to get a good external mic so I don't have to mess with this thing anymore. That's kind of annoying. At the end of the video, I'm going to put up a price list. It's something I haven't seen done on really any channel that I've watched. Jobs like this, videos like this, is how much are you putting into this? So I'm going to put up a list of everything I did in this video. If you see me using something that isn't on the list, it means I already own it. So you'll see the price for paint, but not paintbrush, because I've got lots of paintbrushes. Take care of your paintbrushes. Get good ones. Be meticulous in how you clean them. They will last a long time. They pay for themselves. So I'm going to keep a running total over the project of this truck from start to finish, and we'll see what the final tag is on it. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.